Hello and welcome to Foundations of Reading. This week we're going to talk about double consonants and the variations on the VCE syllables. So first, let's just review what we talked about last week. Fill in these blanks. You can put it on pause. But the silent E at the end of a word is dropped if we add a suffix starting with the vowel, and the silent E is not dropped if the suffix starts with a consonant. This rule is important to remember because it will relate to what we're doing in this afternoon. So the first thing they ask you to do is just to find the root word so you can look and see, was a silent E dropped or not? We'll put that on pause. You can fill in your answers, and when you look at the slides, they'll pop in there. Okay. All right, but the new thing we're going to talk about today is doubling of consonants. So take a minute, read this document to yourself, and look for all of the words that have a double consonant. So one of those words you might have found is shipping. And the root word of shipping is ship, but I've added this ing. And so when I do that, I have to double the consonant. The rule is that when a CVC word has one vowel, ends in one consonant, and is one syllable onto itself, then you have to double the final consonant when adding a suffix that begins with a vowel. So this rule can be a little tricky, so let's look at some different situations. You might have the root word run, and you would need to double the consonant because it's one vowel, it's one syllable, and it ends in one consonant. But in a word like shipment, when you add meant to it, there's no double P because meant begins with a consonant, not a vowel. And fastest, the root word is fast. When I add the EST to it, I don't have to double the T because there are two consonants at the end, the S and the T, so it doesn't follow the rule. So you can look at this list and you can see where why some of them are having the double consonants and others aren't. And you can also say, well, what's the root word of some of these words that are with these ing endings in here? They also have for you a practice page where you look at the word and the suffix that they want to add, and you say to yourself, is there one syllable, one vowel, and one final consonant? And that will tell you how to add the suffix. I'll go through these answers real quick here, but when you look in your slides, you can pop them in and take your time to see them. Okay, so just a little bit more on this. We're looking at this pattern. We'll talk about these in class. We'll look at some of these words and say, oh, some of them are irregular, some are following the drop the E rule, some are doubling consonants. And then when you come to this part D, the words will be said for you. And here they're asking you to spell the words just by listening to it. And again, in your slides, you can go through and get the answers. All right. And then the last thing we'll do in lesson 9 is we'll do a smooth reading, which has a lot of these words that have either dropped an E or have doubled up the consonant, the final consonant. We'll take some time practicing that together, and then we'll move on to lesson 10, which is about variations in the final E pattern. So lesson 10, let's talk about variations on the final E pattern. So we have this very simple fact that when you add an E to the end of a syllable, it will change the sound of the previous vowel. So nap will become nape, sit will become sight, lob is lobe, dud is dude, and pet is Pete, right? Well, that's easy. And we know how to identify CVC syllables and VCE syllables, right? Short vowels, long vowels, and applying all of our rules. But when we look closer at the VCEs here in this document of the day, we'll notice that they don't all follow this long vowel rule, right? Some of them have an E at the end, but they have a short vowel sound like give, love, and have. So V is a special letter. And when we see a word that has a V in it, we need to pay attention closely to see what will the pronunciation be. Will it be a short vowel or a long vowel? The fact is that there's no English words that end in the letter V, so they just shoved an E at the end of every word that had a V sound when we take it from other languages, regardless if it's a short or a long sound. So with these, be flexible. Another example of this is the suffix "iv." So "iv" means having a tendency for something, such as an active person has a tendency to move around and be active. But when we add this IVE suffix to the end of a word, you can see that it changes the way that the syllables are divided, which will affect the pronunciation. So that's something to pay attention to, and we will talk about it in class and practice it there. Here's another spelling check. Listen to the audio and write in the words. We'll go through them real quick right now. There will also be for you another smooth reading, which has some of these words that are the variations on the VCE rule, and some words with double consonants or maybe dropping an E, different things like that. So we'll look at those. We'll talk about them in class. And then the final thing that's here in the slide deck is the lesson 11, which is the review. We will have many of these questions in the quiz this week, but also look through here and try all of the many activities they have. There are quite a few, and we'll see you in class on Tuesday and Thursday. Have a great day and see you soon. Bye-bye.